kuwa mkono ambao unalima ardhi, mlango wa mkulima kuwa mshindi, kuwa na uhakika sasa, kukulea mustakabali wa baadaye. Tufanye kazi pamoja na tukue pamoja, kuimarisha Kenya ni jukumu la Farm Kenya.
Well, indeed, thank you for staying with us here on the Farm Kenya show. My name is Peter Wakaba. Now, in this second part of the show, we delve even deeper into this conversation around storage, warehousing, and of course the ecosystem around that, and getting farmers access to markets, market information. And just to reiterate the point our guest made, that he said that the business case for just warehousing doesn't really exist anymore, but the ecosystem of services around that, which will of course include price discovery, financing, the derivative aspects, even enabling farmers access markets which they normally wouldn't, all becomes part of the package. And let's get back into it then, Kizito. So at the point where we went on that break, we had talked about the fact that while farmers might be organized, and while we might want to put them together so that they can enjoy the benefits that come with size and being able to tackle the market from a bigger perspective, the issues of quality, the issues of consistency in production, the issues of timing. Some people will go to market to farm earlier than others. How do you iron out all these kinks when you get into a particular area?
So I think that remains one of the biggest challenges in terms of the quality of grain that is then supplied.
Yes.
Given that different farmers use different inputs. And using maize as an example, you have farmers who basically reuse some of the seed that they got from the last season, and then they hope to get similar yield, right? And then you see the yield deteriorating. And there is a whole conversation around production, but let's focus on the quality at the time of harvest. One of the key things that we do through our agriGHALA service and the warehouse receipting is to have very stringent requirements for intake of commodities, which requires us as a warehouse operator to make sure that by the time the farmer is walking out of the warehouse with a warehouse receipt that is a legal document they can use to go and get credit from the bank, that we have ascertained the quality, quantity, and grade of that commodity. So what you will find in our warehouse is a laboratory that makes sure that we are able to basically grade the commodity that comes in. If it is maize, grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, the aflatoxin measurements, the moisture measurements, the discoloring, the dirt content, all this is assessed, analyzed, and we're also able to tell the farmer we are not able to take in your maize. And so we also get farmers who would basically not be able to enjoy the benefits of an agriGHALA service because of the quality of the product that they bring. But if you're bringing a quality of a product that is acceptable within the warehouse receipting system, then you are able to rest assured that by the moment you leave the warehouse, even if we commingle your product with the products of another farmer, when you come back to pick your maize, you will get the same grade 1 at that kilo that you were expecting to receive. So that is one way of making sure that we ensure that. To bring this maybe also in terms of how we do this operationally is we do this at the farm gate. So basically before you even bring your maize to the warehouse, we will have our team come to the farm gate, take samples of your maize, do the assessment, and then give you a go-ahead to deliver to the warehouse.
So this is for farmers who you're already working with?
Yes.
Because when I look at larger economies, you find that this sort of scheme has enabled specialization, so that the farmer will stick to farming. There will be someone who will be the person who's contracted to do deliveries within that region. So collect, after sampling, they will essentially take the product, deliver it to an aggregation center, which is wholly automated, and the tests are performed, and this, you're told, oh, this is human food, this can only qualify for animal feed, and those sorts of things. And by the end of the farmer knows how much they're getting for their produce. Do you think we can aspire to that sort of situation?
that's where we must go, because if we really want to feed the country and the continent and the world as we can, then we need to be able to basically expand into these opportunities. And this is actually a really good aspect, because this is how to generate employment for our youth and women, to make sure that we have a vibrant ecosystem. Let the farmer focus on production. But there are a lot of services along the way, up to and including the warehousing and then the final fulfillment to the off-taker, that can be opportunities for service providers in a structured ecosystem to come in and provide services of logistics, to come in, provide services of drying. We have very good sun drying opportunities that can be used through innovative approaches. We can have post-harvest handling, hermetic bags as storage solutions. So all this can come in, and we are also thinking about the concept of micro warehousing. You've talked about cooperative societies, and we're looking at micro warehousing opportunities where you will have a structure at a ward level, so that you as a farmer don't need to run all the way to the next big market to look for warehousing, but you can get it at the comfort of very close proximity to your farm gate. So I believe this is where we must go. And our intention as agriBORA is to basically pave the way for farmers to get visibility of what can be possible if I only then focus on, wow, let me do this full time and do it well, because the market is no longer a problem. The issue of glut in the market is solved through warehousing, and the issue of access to finance while I'm waiting for the market to get better is solved because you have banks ready to lend you against that warehouse receipt that you have, that basically serves like a title deed for you.
You talked about maize, and you talked about soybeans. So what specific crops, what specific grains are you currently working with, and which particular areas geographically are you really in, so that farmers can then begin to think that, how do I get into this space?
So currently we have focused on maize, soybean, sorghum, and sunflower, which are the main commodities that we are able to provide storage for, and also have ready markets for within Kenya. We have focused our services around Western Kenya and Rift Valley, specifically North Rift. In Eldoret, we have our first warehouse, which we will be launching next week, together with partners such as the government, the county government, the national government, the IFC supporting us. So we'll be launching our warehouse in Eldoret, where farmers are going to be having their first deposits coming in. But we have ambition. We are already active in 12 counties along this region, Western Kenya, Lake Victoria Basin region, and then North Rift, where we are operating in those 4 markets. And this is, I think, where we are going to be expanding a lot of our activities. But we are also targeting the semi-arid and arid regions of Eastern, going up with commodities such as green grams that can also fetch really good markets and good prices. So some of the key opportunities that we are foreseeing growing into in the next year.
So when then people think about getting into these sorts of partnerships, these sorts of arrangements, where do you start? Is it that I wait until I start saying I'm harvesting next week, sasa nianze kuwatafuta? Or do we get into these arrangements before? How to go about it?
Absolutely. So what we want to avoid is a queue outside the warehouse. Farmers hoping to bring their intake in, and then they don't have the time. So we have basically set up a slotting system.
Where so appointment. So you need to book an appointment the same way you need to get an appointment to get some services. And that basically helps us to give ample time to the process, right? We've talked about quality, which is really the fundamental aspect of warehousing. So as a farmer, you're able to get in touch with agriBORA, and we are able to then give you an appointment where we come to the farm gate, get your product, get the sample, and then give you a date where you're able to deliver your product to the warehouse. So that's very simple,
Really, and through that process, and because we have been working through the agri-hubs,
Yes.
remember, so we have visibility of the farmers growing in that region.
Yes.
We have our social media channels. We have the agri-hub managers who are also able to provide this information.
Yes.
And then we basically take in your details. You give us your name, give us your telephone number, you give us your location, the amount of bags you're expecting to harvest, and the location of your farm. And with that information, we are able to basically send our team to come do the first quality assessment and then support you in the intake process as you get to us. Once you bring your product to us, by the time you're leaving the warehouse, you have the warehouse receipt, which serves as the legal document confirming that I have my 20 bags at an agriBORA warehouse in Eldoret or in another location. And then I'm able to basically do two things with this receipt.
Yes.
One, it is a negotiable receipt, which means you can go and sell it to someone else. So if you have somebody who is like, I want to buy maize, but I don't have maize, I'm not a farmer.
Yes.
Those that we call tele-farmers.
Yes.
You as a farmer can negotiate that receipt to a third party who then gets the ownership. The same way you move title, ownership of a title deed.
Yes.
You move the receipt.
Is the process going to be the same? How do you track it? Because I mean, a farmer can say, yangu ilipotea or misplaced, he sold it or has taken a loan on it.
Yes.
Do you have visibility of that in your end?
Yes.
So as to keep track of the financial aspects?
So this is actually really where I need to commend the national government.
Yes.
And the Warehouse Receipt System Council, because they have come up with very clear guidelines of how to manage
Yes.
a warehouse receipt from the point of generation of the warehouse receipt,
Yes.
the validation of that receipt at the central registry until the point where the receipt is retired.
Yes.
Which means, as a warehouse operator, I have the mandate to issue a warehouse receipt to a depositor.
Yes.
With this warehouse receipt, I can go to a bank, I can go and negotiate it to a third person. But for that to happen, that receipt needs to be registered at the central registry. The same way we have the land register,
Yes.
we have a central registry for all warehouse receipts, which partners in the ecosystem have access to. So a bank does not plug into the agriBORA software.
Yes.
The bank plugs into the central registry managed by the Warehouse Receipt System Council. And so that is where they're able to know, okay, the farmer has this warehouse receipt, and if the farmer takes this receipt to the bank and gets a loan with that receipt,
Yes.
then there is a lien that is put on that receipt saying, hey, this farmer has borrowed X amount of shillings.
So there's a charge
based
on it.
on that. So there is a charge to it that is registered at the central registry that also me as a warehouse operator is aware of, so that when you come tomorrow and say, hey, I want to sell my maize today overnight, it is impossible, because first of all, the warehouse operator is mandated to ensure that the charges on that receipt are first served, then the farmer is able to take over their deposit. So there's a very clear structure around that for how they can get access to finance and then also sell it onwards to somebody else. So the transfer of the receipt to a new person, or even when you lose it, there are very clear procedures defined how this process can happen.
A lot of people then at this juncture would be asking about cost. How much is all this going to cost the farmer?
Yes. Which is very important, and that is why this is a business opportunity.
Yes.
So I always encourage the farmers I interact with any time I'm in the field. This is not where you bring your maize that is meant for subsistence and store it at a warehouse and come back and take the bembili to go and make siaga for the family. No. This is a business opportunity.
Yes.
And so the farmer that we are looking at as a customer is a farmer who is able to basically do a very basic calculation. The price in the market today is 3,000 shillings. Now, if I utilize the services of agriGHALA, I am going to pay 170 shillings, as 176 shillings as an intake fee. That is the price what you pay us.
Yes, the processing fee to get
processing fee to get your maize into our warehouse.
Yeah, through the door. Yes.
So that is what you pay, because it's a service. We need to do the grading, we need to do the certification, we need to make sure that we have done the rebagging, because we then rebag the maize into 50 kg. You bring it in plastic bags, we need a different bag to store the commodity, which is an environmentally friendly
Why,
bag.
why 50 kgs, yet the standard out there is 90?
So the standard of selling is 90, but in terms of storage,
Yes.
it's 50 kg bags that are able to be moved and are able, because you know, you every month you're basically doing fumigation,
Yes.
you are looking at
easier
that. So
handling.
this is easier handling
Yes.
within the warehouse, but when you are selling it, you
Yes.
get it back again in the 90 kg kg bags.
Why not just silo it, toss everything in one bin, mtu akitaka yake unafungua mfereji, you remove.
That's really an opportunity for us,
Yes.
right? I think one of the biggest challenges is in terms of infrastructure in Kenya. This infrastructure is currently majorly available to NCPB.
Yes.
And so the conversation is, if you want to have a saloon, because for us as an agri-tech company,
Yes.
we are not in the
Yeah,
business
of
of setting up
siloing.
infrastructure,
Yes.
right? And so if we have silos opportunities, we're able to lease them.
Yes.
So an opportunity would arise where
Or even work with a partner.
Even work with them and partner with them. So we are keen to have those kind of conversations
Yes.
that can also make it more efficient how to do the handling of the products at the warehouse. So what we're using is the standard practice of, if you don't have a silo as a warehousing opportunity,
Yes.
then you're able to use these gunny bags
Yes.
and are able to store. So that is the first cost, the intake cost for the farmer.
Yeah. Sorry, yeah, before we go on, you see, for most farmers, the challenge they would then struggle with bending their mind around is this ile mahindi nilileta. And you see, for a lot of people, they are at this point with the thinking that they're at some point supposed to take their maize, rather than considering this as an opportunity to store, warehouse it, and then sell when the price is right.
Yes.
So that once wakiwachilia, it is no longer their business to handle touch maize, but they deal with cash or near cash.
Perfect.
Because of the receipt.
In fact, that's the point. Let me come to that.
Yes.
Let me first finish with the costing,
Yes.
just so that we make sure that our farmers out there have the right numbers. Right?
Yes.
The intake cost at 170, which is a one-off cost per bag, per 90 kg bag.
Yes.
And then the second cost is basically the cost for storage every month. So from the second month, you pay 46 shillings per bag for the storage.
It actually used to be 60, so you can see efficiency.
So that is where we as agriBORA have looked at the numbers and said, okay, this is what we can provide a farmer. Because we are warehousing
per 50 kg or per
90 kg.
Per 90
this
kg
is always
bag.
at a 90 kg
Yes.
bag. So the 50
So the 50
kg,
is just your
that
metrics,
is internal metrics
internal,
of how we are handling it.
Yes.
But now we are always calculating at a 90 kg, because even the price when you are selling it is at a 90 kg bag, that covers the costs that we have of rent, the insurance, and so on. So the product is 100% insured.
Yes. Interesting.
Right?
Yes.
So we make sure that by the moment you're leaving the
against
warehouse,
all different,
against
could
all
be
forms
mice,
of peril,
could
it
be
can
rain,
be
could be
can
spoilage,
could
could
so
be
all that is
aflatoxin.
now not on you as a farmer. It is now on us. As soon as you leave the warehouse with a warehouse receipt, certifying that this commodity has been taken by the operator, it is now my responsibility to ensure that the quality of the maize is maintained.
So you indemnify the farmer essentially.
100%. So we have an insurance to make sure if the warehouse is going to
catch fire,
or
flooding,
all that is now not on the farmer. We can't call and say, sasa,
makosa imefanyika.
Tuongee. No. 100% guarantee for that at that point. So that is the one way to look at it. Now, our intention as a business, and that is why we are not providing you warehouse receipt as the product. The product is agriGHALA. agriGHALA is safe storage and better prices. Our intention and value proposition to the farmer is the moment you walk in with your maize, the only thing you want to walk out with is a warehouse receipt, and at the end of it all, it's money.
In fact, for most farmers, the struggle they have is security. So itaibiwa when packing, poor handling, and then they hear this a lot. Once ukieka kwa magunia inaanza kupata joto, it's still moist, so it starts to ferment and those sorts of things. So once the farmer is able to ascertain that you have taken this in because you think the quality is right, you've done your metrics, measurements, all that is out of their hands.
Out of your hands. What you get is a document saying you have deposited
X number of
bags or kgs, right? We will tell you have deposited 500 kgs of grade 1 maize at this warehouse, and it is certified it's good. So the only thing you need to know is I have 500 kgs of maize at the warehouse.
Until the day they want to sell it off.
Until the day you want to sell. Now when it is coming to selling, that is now where the value proposition is fulfillment. We don't want you as a farmer to now move all the way from Burnt Forest.
Ukuje uchukue mahindi yako.
Warehouse. Ati uende sasa you now come with another truck to pick your maize and then go and look for the buyer and handle that. No. So what you have is a USSD. Where from the comfort of your home. Really the M-Pesa story now, how it works for commodities like maize and soybean. From the comfort of your home, you have the commodities. You can see I have 50 bags. You can check the price discovery. As I have told you, we have our price discovery as agriBORA because we also buy maize. Today, agriBORA is buying the maize at 3,500. You are at home, you have 100 bags. You have an emergency. You decide to sell 2 bags. Surely, it is going to be very uneconomical for you to come to the warehouse to get 2 bags to go and sell. That cost already is
We have about 3 minutes left.
So at that point, we are basically able to help you fulfill. So you basically say, let me sell my 5 bags. Immediately the money is deposited in your bank account or your M-Pesa account, and you're able to then continue. So you don't need to come and touch the commodity again and look at it. You just know you have 500 bags that you can be able to sell at any time, just in time selling.
So the question I had asked about what I've forgotten. So I think then a good place to close would be then to ask about the benefits to the farmer. Clearly, there's a lot of different ways that farmers can benefit from this. Do you think that this then is the way to go, especially knowing that our farmers have so much individualism, they've been trying things their own way, that they then need to start to think about collectives and then how to get into this space?
Absolutely. And I think we want to show the country that there is a partner for you when you decide to go into agriculture as a business. You have a partner who is able to help you walk that journey. And for those farmers who are individual farmers because politics of cooperatives or probably they are not able to set up one, say, I still want to benefit and to enjoy those benefits, they can use this ecosystem that we have built because that bargaining power is actually what we are building with their deposits. So the more farmers deposit their maize with us, the better we are at negotiating for better prices. Because when the off-taker visits our warehouse and finds 1,000 bags, they will give us a price for 1,000 bags and not for the 20 bags or the 50 bags that one farmer has delivered. So I think this is the collective bargaining opportunity that we are saying, even if you're not in a cooperative, you can still benefit from the value of this kind of collective bargaining opportunities through this kind of private sector initiative. But we encourage and we really want to work with cooperatives to come and partner with us, because even at that point, there is an even stronger collective bargaining power that cooperatives can get when they work with off-takers or service providers such as us to help them unlock even better markets.
So then other parts of the country, when can they expect to see these sorts of services in 30 seconds?
We're very ambitious. So we have been in Western and we are in Rift Valley. We are going to be growing our warehousing in Rift Valley and Western in the next year. But you should see us going into central and eastern parts of Kenya. Already within the next year, we are going to be able to deploy this. We already have some conversations ongoing with our partners and investors to make sure that this is possible. And then hopefully scale into East Africa, which is basically our goal for the next 5 years.
Okay, interesting. Thank you very much for your time, Kizito. A really interesting conversation, and of course, hoping to touch base once you get this up and running in those places to check how it's going, and of course, to sort of get the feel for the impact that you will have had. Asante sana for your time.
Thank you.
That, of course, being Kizito, who is the CEO at agriBORA, Kizito Odhiambo there, and he has essentially broken it down for us in terms of the difference at warehouse receipting, better handling, and of course removing the headache of post-harvest handling for farmers and finding better markets through information and access. But that's where we want to leave it today, of course, because our time is up. We expect that up next in the next few minutes, the news in Swahili, but the conversation continues here tomorrow again, so do make a date. My name is Peter Wakaba. Kwaheri ya kuonana.
Uwa mkono ambao unalima ardhi kuwa mshindi, kuwa na uhakika sasa, kulea mustakabali wa baadaye. Tufanye kazi pamoja na tukue pamoja, kuimarisha Kenya.